Hello, welcome back to the brand new session of Certified Ethical Hacking program. In this session, we are going to discuss about scanning network, which is a module 3. So after identifying the target and performing the initial reconnaissance, as discussed in the footprinting and reconnaissance module, attackers begins to search for an entry point into the target system. So attackers should determine whether the target systems are active or inactive to reduce the time spent on scanning. So notably, the scanning itself is not actual intrusion but an extended form of reconnaissance in which the attacker learns more about his/her target, including information about operating systems, services, and any configuration lapses. The information gleaned from such reconnaissance helps the attacker select these strategies for attacking the target system or network. So this module starts with an overview of network scanning and provides insights into the various host discovery techniques that can be used to check for live and active systems. Furthermore, it discusses various port and service discovery techniques, operating system discovery techniques, and techniques for scanning beyond IDS, intrusion detection system, and firewalls. Finally, it ends with an overview of drawing the network diagram. At the end of this module, we will able to learn network scanning concepts, various scanning tools. We will perform host discovery to check for live systems. We will perform port and service discovery using various scanning techniques. We will also perform operating system discovery, scan beyond intrusion detection systems and firewalls, and we will also learn various network scanning countermeasures. So let's start with network scanning concept. So as already discussed, footprinting is the first phase of hacking in which the attacker gains the primary information about a potential target. He or she then uses this information in scanning phase to gather more details about the target. So if I talk about overview of network scanning, so scanning is the process of gathering additional detailed information about the target using highly complex and aggressive reconnaissance techniques. So network scanning refers to a set of procedures used for identifying hosts, ports, services in the network, and network scanning is also used for discovering the active machines in a network and identifying the OS running on the target machine. It is one of the most important phases of intelligence gathering for the attacker, which enables him or her to create a profile of the target organization. In the process of scanning, the attacker tries to gather information, including the specific IP addresses that can be accessed over the network and the target operating system and the system architecture. And you can also say that the port along with their respective services running on each computer. But what is the purpose of the scanning? So the purpose of scanning is to discover exploitable communication channel, probes as many listeners as possible, and track the ones that are responsive or useful to an attacker's particular needs. In the scanning phase of an attack, the attacker tries to find various ways to intrude into the target system. The attacker also tries to discover more information about the target system to determine the presence of any configuration lapses, and the attacker then uses the information obtained to develop any attack strategy. Okay, so the next topic will be scanning tools. So scanning tools are used to scan and identify live hosts, open ports, running services on the target network, location info, net bias info, and information about all the TCP/IP and UDP open ports. So the information obtained from these tools will help an ethical hacker in creating the profile of the target organization and scanning the network for open ports for the device connected. So we will use a lot of tools in the lab demonstration, so don't worry about that. Well, the next point is host discovery. So scanning is the process of gathering information about the systems that are alive and responding on the network. So host discovery is connected as the primary task in the network scanning process. To perform a complete scan and identify open ports and services, it is necessary to check for live systems. Host discovery provides an accurate status of a system in the network, which enables an attacker to avoid scanning every port on every system in a list of IP addresses to identify whether the target host is up. So, host discovery is the first step in the network scanning. So, this section we will highlight how to check for live systems in a network using various ping scan techniques, and it will, we will also discuss how to ping sweep a network to detect live host systems along with various ping sweep tools as well. Well, the next step in the network scanning process involves checking the open ports and services in the live system. So, this discovery of open ports and services can be performed via various port scanning techniques. So, administrators often use port scanning techniques to verify the security policies of their networks, whereas attackers use them to identify open ports and running services on a host with the intent of compromising the network. So, moreover, sometimes users unknowingly keep unnecessary open ports on their system. So, an attacker takes advantage of such open ports to launch an attack. So, in this session, we will learn the common ports and corresponding services along with the various port scanning techniques and tools used by the attacker to perform port scanning. Well, the next step will be OS discovery, or you can say banner grabbing, OS fingerprinting. So basically, an attacker uses OS discovery or banner grabbing techniques to identify network hosts, running applications, and operating system version with non-exploits. So in this section, I will introduce you to banner grabbing and its types and banner grabbing tools as well. We are not going into the deeper manner because we will just go into the deep manner when we will just demonstrate this particular lab. The next step will be the intrusion detection systems and firewall, which are security mechanisms intended to prevent an attacker from accessing a network. But however, even IDS and firewalls have some security limitations. So attackers try to launch attacks to exploit this limitation. So in this section, highlights various IDS firewall evasion techniques such as packet fragmentation, source routing, and IP address spoofing, and etc. So again, we will just go into the deeper manner when we will just demonstrate this particular lab. And the last and not the least objective, and that is network scanning countermeasures. So, in ethical hacking, the ethical hacker, also known as the pen tester, has to perform an additional task that a normal hacker does not follow. That is, adopting countermeasures against these respective vulnerabilities determined through hacking. So, this is essential because knowing security loopholes in your network is worthless unless you adopt measures to protect them against real hackers. So, this section will discuss various countermeasures to defend against network scanning attacks. So, there are a lot of kind of countermeasures like ping swap countermeasure, port scanning countermeasure, banner grabbing countermeasure, IP spoofing detection techniques, then IP spoofing countermeasures. Then we will also discuss the scanning detection and prevention tools countermeasure as well. So yes, again, we will go into the deeper manner when we will have the demonstration of the same topics. So basically in this session, we just had an overview about this particular network scanning module, which we will have a look into the lab demonstration. So let's start our demonstration. Enjoy.